The name of the movie is Beckett. The film opens with married couple Beckett and April. They loved each other and were spending their vacation in Greece in a beautiful area. They spent the day lounging around the city and seeing its sights until the night. They decided to go to a house they had rented, but the house was a little far from their place. They had agreed that the two would take turns driving the car, but April fell asleep. Beckett continued driving, but unfortunately he fell asleep at the wheel. The car swerved off the road and fell off a steep cliff. The car kept overturning and collided with a house. There were a child and a woman in the house. Beckett only suffered minor scratches and injuries, and this is because he was wearing a seat belt. As for April, unfortunately, she did not survive the accident and died. Beckett passed out, and when he regained consciousness, he found himself in the hospital. They told him that his wife had died. Then he was taken to the police station to be interrogated. He told them that there was a child and a woman in the house and asked them to check on their health. The officer tells him that the house where the car crashed has been abandoned for years, and that it is impossible for anyone to be there. Beckett didn't care what the officer said. Then he left the police station and went home. He was watching the place where his wife died and feeling sad. Then a woman approached him and shot him. He ran away from her. Then the officer who was interrogating him earlier came. He told him that this was a misunderstanding and that they would not harm him. But when he got out, she shot him and the officer too. Beckett was injured but managed to escape. He jumped from a height and kept running. He had no idea why the policeman and this girl were trying to kill him. Then he found a truck, got inside and slept through the night. In the morning, some men came and found him in the car. They tried to understand something from him, but they are not good at speaking English except for a person. He took him home with him and bandaged his wounds. He was about to give him the phone in order to contact anyone who might help him. But suddenly the police arrive at the place in order to interrogate the man in case he saw Beckett. He told them that he had not seen Beckett, but the policeman did not believe him and beat him and entered the house to search the place. But Beckett jumped out of the window and ran away. He continued running until he reached a place where a family was working in their apiary. They were speaking English, so he asked them to take their phone in order to call the US Embassy. He called the embassy and told them what happened to him. They told him they would help him, but he would have to wait a day. He told them he would try to come to them because it would be faster. He returned the phone to them and thanked them, then he continued on his way. After that, he was able to reach the train station, through which he can reach the city where the American embassy is located. As the city is somewhat far away, when he got on the train, the officer saw him and went and sat beside him. The officer told him that he was able to follow him until he reached the family who helped him, and they gave him their phone, so he tortured them until they told him that he had gone to the train station. Beckett tried to escape, but the officer attacked him and beat him. He told the passengers that this person was a criminal and he wanted to take him to the police station. The officer tried to shoot him, but he defended himself, so the bullet hit the officer's feet. Beckett managed to escape from the train, and then he took someone's phone and called the embassy again. When the American embassy learned that he had shot an officer, they told him that they would not be able to help him until he turned himself in to the police. He knew that if he turned himself in to the police, he would be killed. Then he completed the way. He saw pictures on the wall of the same child who was in the house where his car fell. He went to the people who were putting up the pictures on the wall and asked them about the child. They told him that this child is the nephew of the well-known right-wing politician Karas, who is a candidate for the presidency of Greece. The leftist party kidnapped Demos in order to put pressure on Karas not to run in the presidential elections. We discover that Beckett was in the wrong place at the wrong time when his car crashed into the house. He understood that those people were trying to kill him so that no one would tell about the kidnapped child. After that, he told them that he saw the child in the house that his car crashed into. He asked them to help him to reach the American embassy. Before he got into the car with them, he saw the policewoman who was chasing him come to him. He quickly hid in the trunk of the car. When the policewoman came to ask about him, they told her that they had seen him, but he was gone. They drove off quickly. Then they took him out of the trunk, gave him juice, and talked to him. They tell him that they are going to demonstrations to support Karas because for them he is the only man who can save Greece. On the way, they witnessed a traffic accident and the police were everywhere searching cars. He got out of the car and tried to escape without the police noticing him. After that, he reached the subway and rode the metro to complete the road towards the embassy. When he got off the subway, he found the police everywhere. He tried to escape from the place quietly, but an undercover policeman saw him and stabbed him. But he miraculously managed to escape. After he was stabbed and people saw him, he asked them to help him take him to the American embassy. Indeed, some people helped him and took him to the embassy. When he reached the embassy, he finally felt safe. They provided him with treatment. Then an officer named Steven came to him and told him that his wife's body had arrived an hour ago. They are now making arrangements to bring her back home. After that, he told the officer everything that happened to him from the beginning. Steven told him that the police were looking for him undercover, but after he shot the officer in the foot, he became publicly wanted by the police, and everyone was looking for him. He asked him to turn himself in to the Greek police so that they could help him. He told him that he would send him to a friend of his in the police to protect him from the corrupt police, and then he could return to the embassy to help him. He also told him that he would go there with him until they completed his investigation. Actually, they went out by car to go to the police station, but Beckett was unsure and felt that something was wrong. Indeed, after a while, Steven tried to electrocute him with a stun device, but he defended himself and managed to escape after their car collided with another car. He kept running and didn't know what to do or where to go. He remembered when the two people who took him with them in the car told him about the location of the demonstrations. He went to them and told them that one of the embassy men was trying to kill him and that no one wanted to help him. After a few moments, Steven arrived with the police, but they managed to smuggle him through the back door. Steven continued to follow him until Beckett reached the demonstrations and entered the crowd. He saw Karas at the demonstration site. After that, he got off under a big shopping mall, but Steven managed to find him and was about to kill him. Suddenly, a necessary contact comes to him. Beckett took advantage of Steven's preoccupation and grabbed a barbell and hit him. Steven tells him that he will not try to kill him again because the call says that the people who were trying to kill him killed Karas. He also told him that Karas had taken a loan of money from the mafia to spend it on people, but he did not return their money, so the mafia kidnapped his nephew to threaten him. People believed that the people who kidnapped the child were trying to pressure Karas not to run in the presidential elections. Steven tells him that since Karas is dead, he can get out without being caught by anyone. But he was not convinced of his words, so he hit him until Steven passed out. Then he took his gun and left. When he came out, he saw the policewoman who was trying to kill him from the beginning. He chased her and noticed that she got into the car with the officer who was also trying to kill him. He went to them and shot the officer in the hand, then he shot the policewoman in her leg. But she also shot him, but he beat her and she lost consciousness. The officer took advantage of the opportunity and fled the scene. Beckett tried to chase him, but he couldn't, so he decided to jump off the building onto the car. Indeed, he jumped and grabbed the officer and started beating him until he lost consciousness. Then the girl who had previously helped him came to him and tried to help him. When people approached, they heard a sound in the trunk of the car. When they opened the trunk of the car, they found the kidnapped baby Demos. If you want interesting movie recaps like these, like, share, and subscribe to follow us for more movie recaps.